Ever since the OGL scandal happened at Hasbro's Wizards of the Coast, every content creator, every tabletop RPG content creator and their grandmother seem to be creating their own tabletop RPG system. And if you're in the market for a new tabletop RPG system, it's really hard to find a good one that suits your table and your needs as a game master or a player. But you as a community have been very vocal about wanting me to try out and read through the rules of DC20 by the Dungeon Coach. And since I broke my rib last week, I've taken the time to actually sit down with the rules, and I have to say, I'm actually pretty damn sold on it. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. Trosk and this is still your go-to YouTube channel for anything fantasy tabletop RPG. And if you're wondering why you're staring at a Kickstarter screen that has brought in $0 out of the $20,000 goal, well, it is because it is the DC20 Kickstarter and nobody decided to back it. I'm just kidding, it is a preview page sent to me by the Dungeon Coach himself for me to check out and see if I wanted to share this with my viewers. If you're watching this video, it is probably live. Link is in the description below. Now, I've been checking out the rules the last couple of days to see if this is something that I find of quality to point out to you guys, but I have to say, I'm actually getting pretty damn sold on the system for myself. I'm not yet ready to run it or anything because I already have the Cypher system and I'm already going to run Tales of the Valiant, but this could potentially be one of those systems that I end up playing like a full campaign in, because I really like it. Everybody has been telling me, like in the comments of my videos, that I should check this out, and something that everybody has been saying about it is actually true. They stripped down a lot of stuff from 5th edition. They took out so much garbage from 5th edition that ends up being garbage because only after they strip it, you notice that you just don't need it. And then they add a bunch of new rules that aren't like groundbreaking new rules. They are all rules that are already out there, but it is just a great collection of rules, if that makes any sense. And that is, for me, that's enough. That's proper game design. So, you need to have a lot of confidence for this title. DC20, the next great evolution in fantasy tabletop RPGs. A fresh system with epic combat, intuitive gameplay, and characters as unique as your group. But all of it feels kind of true. Now, this, if you back this, you decide to make this the best it can be. It is not finished yet, but there's already a free download. Link in the description below, right here. It says free DC20 sample rules. You can read through the rules for yourself, and there's a bunch of stuff that I saw that I really like, and I want to jump into that PDF real quickly later in this video. But right now I want to just kind of scroll down here. Look at this artwork. The artwork is great, right? It's time for the new evolution in tabletop RPGs. Now, again, I wouldn't have like the confidence to say something like that, but I appreciate it when people do. I absolutely love it. Like, our thing is the best thing. It's the next great evolution. Deal with it, right? There's a few. Now, if you notice me catching my breath every now and then, it's because I broke my rib by making poor life decisions on aggressive inline skates at the skate park. Yeah, broke my rib. So every now and then I'm gonna be a little bit out of breath. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm doing mighty fine. Painkillers and all. So there's a bunch of stuff in here that I just want to talk about briefly, and then I want to jump into the preview PDF kind of thing. 4 simple attributes. They stripped down. This is something I've been playing D&D for 20 years now, right? Over 20 years, and I've always found 6 different abilities to be too much. I've always found that ever since I started playing. I was like, why do we need to split some of this stuff up? So what they do is might, agility, intelligence, and charisma. Bam, right there. Perfect, right? So that's already a stripped down version of the game. Like, that's such a baseline thing. I'm always a fan of stripping that kind of stuff down. Always. Now, there's also a 4-point action point system. Again, none of this is groundbreaking new stuff, but I just like the combination of all of it, right? 4 action point system is basically everything you do in combat costs an action point or maybe 2 action points or whatever, right? You can move, you can attack, you can cast a spell, you can use the help action, you can heal somebody or whatever. You decide what you do. All you do in your turn is spend 4 points, basically. You spend those 4 points. Do you want to spend them attacking 4 times in a row? You can. Now, there is a system where it becomes more difficult to hit somebody the more you stack like the same thing, right? If you decide to move, use 4 action points to move, you can like run very fast in one turn, but you cannot attack anymore. But you can also split everything up, and at the end of your turn, you regain all of your action points. It's really important that they say at the end of your turn, because that opens up the ability to use action points for reactions. As they say here, reactions to spend action points outside of your turn. Meaning that you use 4 action points in your turn by moving, attacking, healing somebody, whatever, I don't know. And then you regain them at the end of your turn. Maybe you use a reaction somewhere in combat. That means that at your next turn, you start your turn with only 3 action points because you spent one for a reaction. I think that is a really simple and great system. That just sounds really cool. There is character and ancestry creation system. I haven't looked into that just yet, but I'm always a fan of that. If you know me, I'm a big fan of the books An Orc and an Elf Had a Little Baby, which is basically one of the best PDFs on the guild or on Drive-Thru RPG. An Orc and an Elf Had a Little Baby. It's basically ancestries, like different ancestries from different races. You slap 2 races together to create your own sub-race. And you have like a very unique character, basically. And I like ancestries. I like that kind of character customization. Now, everybody gets these 4 action points, and then spellcasters get mana points, and marshals get stamina points. If you're a spellcaster, you get mana points to cast spells. So it's not anymore like that classic thing where you have like this, you can cast these amounts of spells per day. You have spell enhancements that you use mana points for. And you, as a marshal, you get stamina points. You again choose where you use your stamina points as a marshal. And then there's a bunch of new stuff that I haven't looked into too deeply yet, but I am actually planning on doing that in the future. Really important. If you want me to do more DC20 content on my channel, hit the thumbs up and put it in the comments below, because that is the only way for me to measure if you want to see more of this. I don't know if you want to see more of this if you guys don't tell me. You can tell me by hitting the thumbs up. You can tell me by commenting. You can tell me by subscribing on this video, because then I can see, oh, this video got me that X amount of subscribers, blah, 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 right? So, also, really quickly, I don't want to, like, talk too much about the Kickstarter itself and what you get for your money or whatever. There's a lot of like early bird stuff going on, so if you want to jump in early. Just saying. Yeah, a few things. Everybody, by the way, really, really important to say is everybody gets access to the beta. Is it the beta or alpha? I don't know. There is this beta thing where you can test the system and then give your feedback, and then test the system again and give your feedback again, and beta system until like the end product. Everybody who backs gets access to that as soon as the Kickstarter finishes. So if you back it as soon as the Kickstarter is done, yeah, they give us an example of the 4 action points. For example, you can move, cast a spell, attack, and dodge. Like that's 4 action points used for 4 different actions. Oh, this is a great part. This is something that I want to talk about really quickly as well. They have I call this a multiple crit rule. I don't know. Basically, you have a natural 20, which crits still, but you also have, if you hit somebody with 5 over their, I want to say AC, but it's not AC. It's actually your defense score. Is it their defense? They just say their defense. So if you hit 5 over their defense, which is basically their armor class, you get to do extra damage. If you do 10 above it, you get to do even more damage. So there's actually like 3 ways to quote unquote crit somebody. And it reminds me of the Cypher system, and that's why I like DC20. It kind of in a way reminds me of like the freedom of the Cypher system, in terms of what you can do in your turn and point spending during your turn. the freedom of the Cypher system, but the groundwork of 5th edition. And yeah, that's why I really like this. And there's just a few things, just 1 or 2 things that I want to point out in the preview PDF that you can download right here for yourself. Link in the description below. And here it is, everybody, the DC20 playtest rules preview. You can download this for yourself. Link is in the description below. Make sure to check it out because it is a 158 pages handbook that is actually nearly finished. Maybe it's not nearly finished. There's no artwork in here or whatever. And when you're reading through it, every now and then they say we're still working on this, or we're still gathering information on this, or there's going to be more information on this in the final product. But this really gives me a lot of confidence that the Dungeon Coach is really trying to create a product that we can kind of all agree with. Like, nothing's going to be 100% for everybody, right? But this feels like the Dungeon Coach just offering us an enormously good foundation, and then like, let's finish this together, right? As a group, as a community, let's finish this together, which I can absolutely 100% respect. Now, there is, of course, too much to talk about here, because all the classes are in here, and there is the Monk, the Ranger, the Rogue, the Sorcerer, the Warlock, the Wizard, the Bard, the Cleric, the Druid, the Fighter, the Barbarian. So all the classes we know and love. There's talents in here. There is an ancestry system in here. There is like the basic rules of like what is a hit and what is a miss, how do you crit, and all of that stuff. And something that I really like in tabletop RPGs, and it just makes a lot of sense to me, and I don't really get why people don't do it, why creators don't do it in a sense. Is this still... Why is my text so weird? I don't know. It's damage reduction. Like, the Cypher system uses a damage reduction for armor, which makes so much more sense. Gaining armor class, in a sense, makes sense. To a degree. You can hit somebody on their armor and, like, totally not hit them because you only hit their armor. So that's your armor class going up. But you could also hit somebody, and due to them having armor, the hit is just not as hard. It's just like wearing, I don't know, wrist protection. When going mountain biking, you fall on your wrist. You might still hurt your wrist, but less so because you're using wrist protection, right? That's damage reduction right there. So I like the damage reduction part more. Now, what the Dungeon Coach is doing with armor is basically he completely stripped down, like the completely unnecessary list of different armors. Like, there's chainmail, and there's plate mail, and there's this mail, and that's mail, and all that stuff. And he just goes like, you're unarmored, you're light armor, or you're heavy armor. Deal with it. But then, which I like, it's the same as the Cypher system. The Cypher system, you're either unarmed, you have light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor, which is damage reduction 2, 6, and 8. Couldn't be simpler, right? Right here, it's a combination of the two. And this, I think, is very, very simple and very, very clever. So you have unarmored, you don't get a PDR. There's physical damage reduction. Sorry. So there's physical defense bonus. That's a defense bonus. It's basically the armor class bonus, and that's the damage reduction, right? Unarmored, you get nothing. Light armor, you just got like +1 to your thingy, your armor class. And heavy armor, you get +1 to your armor class, because a hit might hit your armor but not hit you at all, which is the armor class bonus. But a hit could also come in and kind of hit you, but less so, because it had to go through your armor first, which is the damage reduction part of it. I absolutely like combining that. That is such a simple form. This is what I always mean with like proper game design. I know this is just a small thing, a small stupid table in a freaking 158 pages thick PDF, but it tells me that the person behind this, or the people behind this, have just a sense of what makes sense and what works in the game, and I can just agree with it, because, yeah, like what I'm saying, I like the combination of it upping your armor class, but it's also giving you damage reduction. I really, really like that. And that is basically what I wanted to say about this PDF. Now, there's a lot more to say about this PDF, and I really, really, really want to do more content on DC20. So again, if you want to see me do more content on DC20, the only way for me to know that you guys like DC20 content on my channel is by you hitting the thumbs up under this video, or telling me in the comments, or subscribing to the channel under this video. That's the only way for me to tell that you like DC20 content, because if you guys like DC20 as much as I'm starting to like it, I would really want to provide you with more content on it. I don't know, character builds, deeper like reviews, all of that stuff. I'm getting like really, really, really interested in a DC20, while a few weeks ago it wasn't on my radar yet. Until next video, bye bye.